Howdy, y'all. It is the start of week 3, January 26th, Monday. I am in the process of getting you all the feedback from the work we did together in week 2. And I want to share a story, something that happened yesterday. It's kind of crazy, but I think it beautifully explains why all of the work that we're doing together is so important. So I can't cook to save my life. We go and eat breakfast every morning at the Coffee Bean down the street. And it's Sunday. I have my New York Times. I just want to sit at the table and be left alone. And we're sitting at the table, and this group of 20-something girls comes and sits down. They open their books, and they start quizzing each other on vocabulary, obviously medical stuff, mycosis, this, blah, blah, blah. It's like skin-related stuff. I know at least that much. So they're studying for a while, and they're quizzing each other on vocabulary. Right out of the book, right out of their notes. Vocabulary. And then this guy comes and sits down at the table, and he asks them how they're doing, and they obviously know him, and they're like, everything's fine. And he starts asking them questions, not so much about the vocabulary, but about, but how do you recognize that? What does it mean? What does it really look like? And I start listening a little more to this conversation, thinking they're med students, and he's the TA. Maybe he's even the professor, although he looked a little young to be a professor, because this is what being a professor does to you. So this goes on for a little bit, and then finally it's time to go. And I said, I'm so sorry, I'm going to be incredibly rude. Where do you guys go to school? And the girls giggled and explained, we're not med students, we're assistants in a medical office. And this is our boss, Dr. So-and-so. He's a dermatologist. Really looked good. I got his card. He looked great. So I'm like, okay, this is your boss? You guys are hanging out here on a Sunday? I'm like, what's going on? And he explained that, he really likes his medical assistants, and they all have a certificate of graduating from a program that prepares them to be medical assistants, but all they know is terminology. And he wasn't saying this rude or judgmental. He was just calling it like he sees it. And they were all smiling and nodding as he's saying this. So he says, because he needs his medical assistants to actually be able to work as assistants with him, not just stand in the front and do paperwork, but to have an understanding of what's going on so they can speak shorthand and they can assist him get stuff he needs. He doesn't have to give a long explanation. He takes the time to coach them so that they don't just focus on what's in the book that they've already learned. They've graduated, they have their certificates, but that they're able to see it in action and recognize it and apply it and ask him questions, so that he doesn't miss things, because he's moving quickly and he wants them to be authentically part of his team and work with him. And when these students come out of these programs, they don't know what to do with all that they learn. All they have is vocabulary. And even the girls themselves, knowing this is what he wants from them, their experience has taught them that, he wants us to learn more, so let's work on the vocabulary. And they kept quoting from the book. And he kept saying, I don't care what the book says. Tell me what you think it means. Give me an example of how it looks in real life. And I explained to them, I'm Professor of Ed, and I was so impressed with his coaching and facilitation. And we laughed a little bit, and we both agreed, with the girl standing there, nodding, there was no self-consciousness. They understood that the thing that got them successfully through school was the very thing that's holding them back from being great practitioners in the real world. There was no transfer of understanding. They had knowledge, but no understanding that afforded them the ability to apply, to manipulate, to build upon. It was just vocabulary. So, again, all that we're working on in this class, it's real and it's meaningful and it makes a difference out in the real world for our students to be successful. And by successful, I don't necessarily mean make tons of money, but I mean be able to go out and do the things that they can do, want to do. You know, ZPD goes beyond learning. It goes into life as well. Here's an interesting fact, and then I'll get out of your way. Do you know that studies have shown that when men are looking for a job, and of course we're speaking generalities, but this is a big generality. When men look at a posting for a job, they look at it and go, well, I've never done that, but I could do that. Well, I've never done that, but I could figure that out. Yeah, I could make that work. I've got enough experience, I could do that. Whereas women tend to look at job postings and go, I've never done that, I've never done that, I've never done that. Guess I can't apply for the job. We've got to use our powers as great curriculum designers slash guiders, facilitators, teachers of real learning, not stuff, learning, so that our students can push themselves out in the real world, use what they've got as a base, as a springboard to go out and do more and more and more and more, because you want to get quantum physics here. There's no such thing as homeostasis. An organism is either growing and gaining in speed and strength and energy, or it's starting to decay. We don't want our students to be decaying before our very eyes. And I don't want you guys to decay before my very eyes. I know it may feel that way sometimes, but remember, education is a team sport, and we're all working together. So it was a joy getting to chat with you all and talk with you all. I'm sorry it wasn't more conversational, but unless you guys wanted to stay for 3 hours, it is what it is. All right, I'm grading, and I will see you online. Happy week 3. Woohoo!